Hello everybody, my name is Thư. Today I'm so happy to talk about the short talks on the sequence. Number one, the speaker said that when they got the test, he suggested writing their name at the top is the capital letters. Next, he suggested reading the directions carefully before they answers the questions. And mocking and mocking the answer on the answer sheet, uh, and telling with him if they didn't have pencil. Finally, the speaker said when they had finished turning the test and go home. Number two, first, the speaker got the pupils' attention, and next, she said they were pleased to present Mrs. True Kim playing violin concerto, and the concert that evening would be preceded by a brief talk by Professor Simon on the history of the violin. She said Mr. Simon had letter on on the violin all around the world. Next that, she said they were all go to the lobby to enjoy refreshments. Finally, she introduced the director, who wrote introduce Professor Simon. Number three, the speaker strategist shining at the desk and was there and getting a visitor's pass when entering the building. Next, the speaker advised them not to lose the best because they needed because they would need wearers at all the time in the when they were in the building, and she strategist what is the escort to accompany them towards their destination, and being escorted back to the reception desk. Um, she sees the strategist signing out and returning their best when leaving. Finally, the speakers thanks them for their um, thanks them for their cooperation. Number four, first, the speakers got the customer attention, and the speakers are next. The speaker said the store will close in 15 minutes. His strategist taking all their purchase to the cashier to the cashier. um, he his strategist using the express checkout lane if they were buying five or few items, and having their receipt ready to start on the guard when leaving. Finally, he suggested checking to make sure all their all the item was the right size and colors before they bite, because the store didn't accept accept return. Number five, the speaker says that, first, the speaker says that coming up after the news were out, was their weekend weather report. And next, reporter Tim Tom Tales work interview Susan Gilbert about her new book. Um, the speaker said Miss Gilbert was a renowned expert on investing and finances writes the quickly newspaper column "You and Your Money." Uh, um, that that should be a very informative show. Finally, the speaker said uh, there was Peter Cook with the news. Number six, first, the speaker advised them should be a large turnout for the afternoon's national day parade the day after. And next, he said, uh, the speaker said, it would be preceded by speeches mayor by the mayor and the chief of police. uh, um, Next then, uh, everyone was invited to enjoy a barbecue and fireworks at the city park in the evening. Um, uh, just because that there was a free event. Um, uh, and as the speaker advised them, not forget to attend the morning soccer game at the national stadium. Finally, the speaker said attending as a game attendance at the game was also free. However, the speaker suggested arriving early if they wanted to be sure of getting a good seat. Number seven, Number seven, the speaker first. The speaker said a few changes, a few changes had been made to their conference schedule because the schedule conflict. Professor Jamison was speaker immediately following lunch instead of before. Next, some morning coffee would be served in front of her in front hall instead of in the dining room. The morning workshop would begin at 10 o'clock as originally scheduled, but the afternoon sessions won't begin at 1:30. Finally, Mr. Carter, as the speaker said, Mr. Carter would be give the opening talk. Number nine. Number nine, the speaker first. The speaker said the president had left that day for a visit to Latin America. Next, the speaker said he would head first to a meeting in Mexico, Brazil, and Mexico with letter from Colombia, Brazil, and Mexico, uh, uh, and um, follow with a few days of rest at a Mexican beach resort. His work go on. He was go on a meetings with heads of state, in Peru and Ecuador. Um, Finally, Uh, Finally, the speaker said he worked to factories and met with leaders in both countries. Number 10. First, the speaker said uh, um, they, they could register for the classes by phone and avoid at long lines at the registration office. Uh, Next, the speaker suggested calling the phone number and press 1 if they was a new student and operator if they were a returning student and uh, entering their social security uh, their social security number uh, after then the class number. After they had selected the first classes, selected all their classes, entering their credit card number and hang up. Finally, as the speaker said, they had received a receipt by mail within 5 days. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.